Good morning, everybody. It's now 9:32, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to PM Expo. We're excited to kick off the day with a product demonstration. We have the team from Commercial Image Photography here to tell us all about virtual tours and virtual staging. So with that, I'll kick it over to Steve and Les to show us what they've got.
Well, good morning. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. I appreciate everyone's time for coming out and taking a look at this. This is, as the title slide says, Virtual Tours meets Virtual Staging. And in case you haven't actually been to the Gaylord Hotel, where this event is virtually taking place, that's the background that you see there. That's the Gaylord. In the lobby of the Gaylord, and if you actually look at the when you go walk around the PMA Expo, you're actually inside a virtual Gaylord, and that's what I tried to do here. But it's such a nice day outside. Hopefully, it is where you are. You can see that we kind of took care of the clouds for everybody today. But we can also go. I'm going to click on that and we can go outside. That's virtual staging pretty much right there. I'm actually going to go across the pond and get a good view from across the way there of National Harbor. But virtual staging is really more important than ever now. And Les and I are going to kind of go over some of the things that you can do with virtual staging, whether it's Matterport tours or even in still photography, but most importantly, in the Matterport virtual tours. Okay, that's what we're talking about today. Let me just click on something here. Hold on just a second. There we go. Now, you're used to seeing Matterport virtual tours, and this is kind of what you see here is a typical Matterport tour. And we say that 40% or so folks give you better engagement when you're using Matterport tours, and that's pre-COVID numbers. Now you can imagine that almost everyone is using some kind of virtual tour to come and visit your property. And if you can give me, this is kind of like the new normal, and there's more to it than that. This is an automated tour. It has not been virtually staged. This is from the Rennie, a Live B property. And one of the things that's going on right now, this is an automatic tour. Les isn't pushing any buttons, or I'm not pushing any buttons. It can automatically walk through for you. The other thing about the Matterport tour is that you can stop it at any time, and you can do do a self-guided tour and move it around. Then if you take a look. This is a typical apartment, obviously, but what if you had a way to stage this? A lot of times you don't have a model. You're trying to show your prospective tenants what the apartments are looking like. If you take a look, again, this is just a vacant model. Here is a Matterport tour walking through that vacant model. Okay, and this is what you're typically used to seeing. And it looks clean, it's really good, but you really want to try and show how the furniture might look. Prospective tenant, well, will my furniture work in here? What are the, especially when it comes to loft areas or studio apartments, it's really hard to visualize how some of that furniture will fit. So if you take a look at this slide, here is a Matterport tour. This is an automatic Matterport tour, and it's virtually staged. None of this furniture exists. So really, when you think about how easy is this, all right?
By the way, today we have
There we go. We'll take some questions at the end, that's for sure. So this is a virtually staged apartment. The furniture does not exist there at all. And what's good about that? Well, you don't always have a model apartment. And if you do, it's not of every single type of apartment that you have, whether it's a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, a loft, or a studio, that kind of thing. So this will save you, by doing it virtually, this will save you a lot of costs in bringing in furniture from a furniture rental firm, the logistics of bringing it in, the logistics of bringing it out. The other thing that's really cool about doing virtual staging in your Matterport tours is that you have the option to change colors and styles even a year or two from now. Let's say you wanted to do a refresh. You don't even have to go back into the apartment. All you got to do is say, okay, let's go back to the original Matterport scan, and you can change all the furniture, change all the colors, and you don't have to do a new scan. So that's pretty good. The other thing that is pretty good with Matterport. Oh, let me show you a couple of these. These are a couple of other apartments that have been virtually staged. So again, all this furniture does not exist. Okay, so we can just, and as you can see, just before and afters of what it can look like. So this is an apartment that is called the Londonderry. It's a K apartment community. And then also I'm going to show you another one. This is this next one is called the Scout, and it's down in Richmond, Virginia. And the thing about the Scout, what is kind of interesting, it's operated by Steelhead Management, and the Scout just opened up in April. And brand new location, brand new build. And they did a lease up that was almost 100% virtual. And I got to tell you, they are about at 85% occupancy already, just opening up in April. And the plan is they have 2 more Class A locations that they are building in Richmond and opening soon. And what they've gone ahead and done, unless if you can scroll down just a little bit on the whole page, every single apartment type was scanned and then virtually staged. And again, if you're going to do 100% lease up virtually, this is the way to do it. So again, when you're looking at these things, remember, none of this furniture exists. And one of the things it's interesting also in Richmond, there's a huge repurpose of commercial space being used for multi-housing now down in Richmond, and that's an interesting point there too, that they're repurposing a lot of commercial buildings.
Over a year.
And that brings us to actually commercial spaces. Some of you may have, besides your multi-housing, you might have some commercial space properties that you're looking at and you're trying to lease up. And many times you'll have ready to lease space and it is not staged at all. And we can go in and we can do we can really go in and virtually stage these commercial spaces to make them look so much more appealing to your clients. There's some pretty neat opportunities there. So again, all that furniture does not exist. So, the process is pretty simple in how this all works, but I just want to touch on, we've been talking about this for 2 years. If you've been coming by our booth for the last couple of years at PM Expo, we've been talking about the Matterport tours and doing virtual tours for you and saying, hey, listen, pretty soon we're going to be able to virtually stage Matterport tours, and that time is now here. And it was kind of perfect timing based on everything that's going on today. So finally, we're able to do this. Like I said, the process is pretty simple. Nothing happens until you can do a Matterport scan. So the first thing, part of it is to do the Matterport scan. Then you can choose models and design styles that you want to use for furniture. You can plan the layouts. And once you have all that kind of done, the typical turnaround time to get this back is should be about 5 to 7 days from your provider. And there's a back and forth, and you get to choose some of the things. If we go to the next slide there, you'll see it's a pretty simple thing. Like here's a model library or sample, just a piece of it. There are literally thousands and thousands of items in different 3D model libraries of furniture, and there's lighting and accessories, plants, plates, all kinds of different things. And I know that we maintain a lot of different libraries that folks can choose furniture from and different items. And there is a back and forth usually from a design standpoint, or you don't have to do anything. It's so many of our clients would say, all right, here's the space, I need it scanned, give me the digital staging, and they love what we do. So we're pretty good at it, and there's minimal changing, or you can just let it be as it runs. So that's a pretty good tool that's available, that model library. And we talk about costs for digital staging of Matterport tours. It depends upon this, obviously, the space and the size. Commercial spaces can run up there a little bit, depending upon how much square footage there is. The initial scans on a typical, let's say, 2 to 3 bedroom apartment might be $200 to do the original scan. And then digital staging can be anywhere, as you see on the slide there, from $800 to $1,000 for that typical 2 to 3 bedroom apartment. But I want to put that in perspective, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in just a second. But many of you are familiar with digital staging in still photography, and we've been doing that for years now. And typically, what we charge for digital staging of one shot, let's say you have a living room, kitchen, and dining room combination, that may be all in one shot. Call that a great room shot. We would charge $200 to digitally stage that. If it's a bedroom, it would be $200 to digitally stage that. So if you're looking at 5 rooms in a typical apartment, it's almost on par, the Matterport staging versus the 2D, what we call 2D or still staging. Okay, and as I said, commercial space could run a little bit more based on the availability. So that's something to think about as we go on. So quick overview. We'll get to some questions here in just another minute. I want to really try and give a give and take here for most of this. I just want to give a quick overview of some of the other services that Commercial Image has. We do, the basic and enhanced photography. You can see there on the left. That's a basic shot. The enhanced photography, really high-end stuff on there on the right. And we can talk a little bit more about the enhanced photography, doing a little bit before and after picture here. Les, if we can move along, you can see that you know, when you have this enhanced photography, the editing that you can do in Photoshop and some of the other programs that we use. This would be kind of a fun game to play later, because this presentation will be available later. You can do this with your kids. Take these two pictures and see if you can find 13 differences between these two shots. And that's kind of a fun thing, but this is obviously what we can do. If you take a look at that tree on the right, that's one of the big things, filling those kinds of things in and really making your property look pretty good there. Some examples of some commercial image and multi-living exteriors on the high-end side. And then, of course, what we do is, big one is the ability to virtually stage those still shots. So there's a before and after. And again, you know, it's important to understand that furniture, even though it looks real, it is not there. And of course, you know, we can always talk to you about some of our other photography services, give you the warm and fuzzies around your property. Lastly, drone photography. That's a big thing going on right now, and where even today, we are introducing some new drone photography where we can go up and do a 360 image from a drone, and you'll be able to move around and look at it 360. And that's kind of the new technology that's happening in drone photography. But it's important to note in the drone photography, if I could just talk about that for a moment. We don't, and hopefully your photographers, if they're not us and they're using drones, they're not charging you additional charges for drone photography. I really, it's one of the things I feel kind of strong about, that drone photography, at least in our perspective, is like changing a lens on a camera. If we're using a drone, then we can, you know, we don't charge additional fees for that. It's just like having an extra lens in your bag. So, and then of course, video options, that's the other popular thing here. The one on the left, typical video that you're used to. This is coming from the Escher, which is a Village Green property. It's located in Rockville. And depending upon your zoom speed there, hopefully this is working out for you, but you can also visit these things on YouTube where we do that. But one of the other things that is kind of a good idea that you might not have thought of, and this is something that we did for Ross here at Seven Springs Apartments, is that we used existing still images and just created a slideshow video. And that will allow you to, you know, put a video up either on YouTube or Facebook or something like that using existing. That's a stage shot, by the way, virtually staged. But you can combine all your still images and put them to music, or even do a voiceover or something like that. So those are all kinds of some of the services that we have. But I know that you've hopefully got some, I hope that you have some questions for us. You can either reach out by email to either myself or Les, or feel free, obviously, to visit our booth after this presentation. But I want to open it up, Sarah, if we can, and hopefully we have some good questions and we can interact and whatever you want to talk about with your photography, whether it's virtual staging or not, of your Matterport tours, we'll be more than happy to try and answer your questions.
Absolutely. This is just a meeting format, so please feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like to ask a question, or you may type one in the chat as well. Not all at once, though.
No one has any questions for us. Everybody's real good with their staging of their virtual tours from Matterport.
What have you found to be the biggest challenge when onboarding new clients? Is there something that seems to surprise folks in terms of navigating through this process of virtual staging?
Well, that's a good question. The biggest challenge sometimes with new clients is the underestimating of the preparation for the space. It's really not a difficult thing to do, but what happens so many times that, at least in our situation where we would show up at a new location that we haven't done any work for, and even though we've explained some of the processes behind this, excuse me, sorry about that. All right. Thought we disconnected all the phones. But some of the processes behind this, we show up and they think that, oh, it's apartments.com. They're going to come in, they're going to do their quick little thing and they're going to leave. We don't have to do any prep. We don't have to clean the windows. We don't have to remove screens. We don't have to vacuum the carpets. We kind of like, well, they're just going to shoot it as is. And that's probably the biggest challenge is having the locations do prep work before we arrive. And we kind of give a checklist of what we should do, what should be done. And like I said, it's the underestimating of the level of photography and the service behind it. So I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other thoughts or comments? Hate to leave this early.
You had a kudo in the chat from Larry. He said, use Steve, he's the best. He even made me look good. That's what Larry said.
Yeah, we can virtually stage you too, Larry. That's for sure. We'll put you in some gorgeous locale. That's what we'll do.
Thanks, my friend. I appreciate that.
Where would you like to be later today?
Just put me anywhere where it's green and sunny.
We did have another question. Do you have any setups of office settings because of COVID-19, i.e. plexiglass partitions?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I don't have any samples of it, but that is absolutely something that we could put together. If that's something that you do want to show. Actually, what's really been more popular is saying, okay, well, we have all these COVID issues and things at our location. We'd like you to take those out because we're looking, hopefully we're looking at long-term down the road. This is what it normally looks like. The other thing that we're seeing with that too, we might go in and we might be doing some Matterport tours and there are COVID signs around, and you might think, okay, well, I don't want to do the virtual, I don't want to do the Matterport tours because I have all this COVID stuff. Well, you can leave it in for now, and then we can actually take it out later, or even go back and rescan just a section. That's one of the nice things about Matterport. And hopefully your provider is doing you a service by holding on to your original scans. That's one of the things that we've seen before, where a client might say, oh, I'd like you to go out and rescan just this one section of this Matterport scan. Maybe it's a room, maybe it's a couple of rooms, because you do not have to rescan the entire area. But the only way to do that is if you have the original scan, and that's usually stored on an iPad. And unfortunately, what some photographers will do, and some companies will do, is they will take that original scan, and after a certain amount of time, they will delete it. We don't do that. When our iPad fills up with scans, we go out and buy a new iPad. And that's one of the differences that you want to see in your provider that's doing your Matterports for you, that they will ultimately hold on to that original scan. The other thing too that you want to look for in a Matterport provider along those lines is someone that gives you the option of you owning your assets. That's very important. The way Matterport works is that it's not like a video where we send you a link, or a picture where we send you a link. Matterport is a proprietary service And Matterport does all their own hosting at their website. So when you click on a Matterport link, you're actually going to a Matterport server. Now, what happens is that some Matterport providers, and we do this as well, for some of our smaller clients that might only have 1 or 2 Matterports, where we host that Matterport on our Matterport account. And there's a fee for that. Usually we charge $50 a year, and we have to go through and make sure you get billed $50 a year for this hosting fee. But some of the larger clients, like most of you, they have their own Matterport account where they own their assets, they own their hosting. There's no hosting fees because you're already paying for your own Matterport account. And that gives you more control. But the other thing that we do is commercial image photography also helps manage those Matterport accounts. And when we shoot a project, whether it's for Kay or Liv B or Alan Rocks, we're uploading that Matterport directly to their own Matterport hosted site. So that's a good question there. I hope that that answers the first question, and then that second little bit about hosting.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a few more minutes left. Does anybody else have any questions? Do we have any of Steve's current clients on the phone or on the call? Nada.
All righty. Well, listen, again, I want to thank everybody for coming out and participating, and hopefully that you picked up a couple of little tidbits. If you've gotten 1 or 2 things out of this, then it was a success. And again, feel free to visit our booth. We'll be there throughout the day today, or send an email to Les or myself. Plus, this presentation is being recorded, so you'll be able to take a look at that later. As well as if you visit our booth, you can also download this presentation in a PDF form for you as well. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day. And we'll see you around the horn.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Commercial Image Photography. Before you guys all leave, a couple announcements. One, speaking of photography, take a selfie and text it to the phone number that I put in the chat, and you can enter our photo competition. We're giving away a $200 gift card. So you text it with the keyword Expo, you receive a branded selfie back that you can post on your social media accounts, and then it'll also go to the Expo photo gallery, which is available through the networking lounge on the PM Expo platform. Also, today we're holding our Passport to Prizes scavenger hunt. So there are certain exhibitors that are participating in that. Oh, look at this. It's like I paid less to go to the right things. And there are exhibitors participating in this, as well as Halloween icons. So you'll see the sponsor logos and the Halloween icons throughout the exhibit hall, throughout the platform. You just need to click on those and you'll see a pop-up that says that it's been collected, added to your tally of items. So go collect those and you can be eligible to win $5,000. We're holding that drawing at 4 o'clock in the auditorium, which Les is in for us right now. So you'll just click on that green arrow at 4 o'clock and it'll take you to the Passport to Prizes drawing. And again, please take a few minutes to visit with the exhibit hall. You don't have to spend 8 hours glued to your screen today, but take some time to visit with all the exhibitors and be sure to come back in at 4 for the drawing as well. That's all I've got for you. Thanks so much for spending your morning with us.
All righty. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.